Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Tara Arnold, and today I'm going to be channeling Ascended Master St Germain and the Ascended Masters on the storm that we're all going through on the planet right now of the pandemic, this world pandemic. It's really knocked us all down, and particularly where we are in Canada, our neighbors in the United States are going through a really hard time right now. So sending a lot of love and empathy and compassion to our neighbors in the States and also in Canada and all over the world. But I've been going to do this video for about 3 days now, and each time that I go to make this video, channel messages from the Ascended Masters, I tap into the collective's energy, and the emotions were so overwhelming that I couldn't do it. So I've been procrastinating for a few days, but this message is from St Germain, the Ascended Masters, to bring through hope for humanity at this time, and maybe give us some tips on how to weather this storm. You know, how do we all survive this, and what's coming up after, like what will, you know, our future look like. There's a lot of uncertainty, and so I'm going to get started. He's bringing through frequencies, or they're bringing through frequencies for the heart chakra and crown chakra and third eye through this video. So if you're open to receiving, all you have to do is say you're open to receiving, and you might feel something in those areas. There was a lot with grief and sadness and despair and hopelessness and helplessness. So and also anger. There were just so many emotions I can't even describe, but you guys all know because you're going through it. So I'm not going to procrastinate any longer. I'm going to get started, and I'll see you at the end. Thanks for watching. Oh yes, welcome. I am St Germain. We welcome you all. There are many of you who are feeling left alone at this time. You are feeling like you are left in the battlefield all alone. We are holding space and sending compassion to all of you at this time. We wish to remind you, as a collective, you have chosen this, we would say, this experience on planet Earth. We must remind you, you are not victims of suffering. You are warriors of experience, and as you are on the battlefields at this time, we would say this isn't a fight against each other. In many other lifetimes, you had created physical wars where one country would fight against another, and this caused much physical pain and emotional pain on the planet. This caused much separation. You were moving into a new way. You were moving into a way of communicating or coming together. One moment, please. You are moving into a way of compassion. You are moving into a way of connecting without ego separation. We would say that it is, you have created this battle as a collective with this coronavirus to bring up past lifetime pain that had not yet been transmuted from fear back to love from past wars. This would be that many of you had gone to the battlefield in a world war, or a physical war. You had been sent out as young men or women to fight or participate in these wars. Does this not feel the same as those lifetimes? Yes, you are bringing up the past lifetime emotions that had not been transmuted. In those war times, there were many of you who hung on to these emotions. You saw them as something happening to you and not for you. In this lifetime, you are transmuting those fears back to love. There are many in the collective that are on, you would call your terminology, you have named the terminology frontline workers, for those that are working in grocery store or in hospitals as nurses or doctors, or cleaning staff, are all the frontline workers in the battlefield of this disease. We would say that as the frontline workers are feeling left alone, they are bringing up past lifetimes where they were on the front lines in wars, where they were left alone and they were, we would say, used in order to feed egoic consciousness. This would be that a president or a politician would start a war, and people would go out and fight the wars, and when they would get to the battlefield, they would begin to question, what am I doing this for? Why is this fighting for one's country causing so many others pain? I am love. Why am I causing pain? There was much turmoil in these lifetimes of being in battle and losing one's life. Many of you are bringing to the surface these same emotions to be transmuted. As we had mentioned in a previous video, there are many that have already have a soul contract to leave the battlefield with a transition from physical form into spiritual form. We would say there are many who are sending their loved ones off to battle, and that person is getting sick and being alone and dying alone. There is much survivor guilt from this. There is much post-traumatic stress disorder, as one would call it on planet Earth. These are the same emotions when the mother sent the son, said goodbye as the son or the husband went off to war. Is this not bringing up the same emotions? We would say, yes, this would be that it is being transmuted as those who have, as a collective, contracted to leaving the planet in this way. We would say that many of them are returning quite rapidly back to planet Earth. After the coronavirus has taken its course, there will be new births on planet Earth. This would be births of the babies. There are many people that are on planet Earth at this time that are emotionally connected, and we would say that many of them are conceiving new life at this time. As many exit the planet, there will be a new birth of babies after this pandemic. There are many who have put off in their lifetime, we will put off having children at this time because we are busy with our lives. When this world pandemic happened, there are many questioning, should I wait any longer? I wanted to have children, and we would say that many will begin to have children. This is that those who are crossing over from physical form into spiritual form are coming back as a reincarnation for the new earth. This is that they are having an instant awakening. They are not going to be long, we would say, in your perception of time. You are perceiving time as past, present, and future, and there is this would be a linear perception, but we would say everything is happening now. This is that you are not victims of suffering, but you are warriors of experience. And as you transmute these feelings of emotions from past lifetimes, from fear back to love, and we would say this is happening rapidly with this virus. It is bringing up much emotions from the collective. There are many that are exiting, and there is post-traumatic stress disorder, as one might call it on planet Earth, and survivor's guilt that are being transmuted from fear back to love as this virus progresses and takes its course on the collective. We would say that many being born again on the new planet would be those who were excited to have more rapid awakening. We would say that as Mother Earth's frequencies have been raised to a vibration of love, it cannot Mother Earth can no longer hold the dense energies of fear. This is where the people exiting on the planet have volunteered to transmute this fear back to love rather rapidly. When Mother Earth is has raised her vibration, one moment please. Mother Earth has raised her vibration, and as she is raising her vibration, she is plowing her fields. We would say this is that the topsoil must be turned, and as it's turned, it decays and dies beneath the earth. As the earth is turned, this is making way for new seeds to be planted, and as new seeds are planted, new growth will begin. There is an exiting of this fear-based energy on planet Earth. We would say this dense, heavy anger and rage. There is much irritability and resentment and blame and victim. This energy is leaving the planet. At this time, these spirits that are leaving the planet will, many will be reincarnated, we would say rapidly, back onto planet Earth as new children of the new Earth. This is an exciting transition for the spirits that have chosen this path. We would say that there are many of you who are survivors of this experiencing, and it is not feeling so great, St. Germain. It is feeling very painful. And we would say, could you take the time to sit with these emotions, allow them to come to the surface. They are being transmuted back to love from the past lifetimes that did not get transmuted. It was the past lifetimes where you blamed something outside of yourself. If you believe it is happening for you instead of to you, you will be able to transmute it with your consciousness rather rapidly. We would say to assist this, do not judge it. We had mentioned this in many videos. Could you not judge it as right, wrong, good, or bad if one is taken from you on planet Earth? If one is sick and ill and you feel helpless, could you not judge whether this is right or wrong or good or bad? If one is to get the coronavirus, could you not judge this as something right, wrong, good or bad? Could you look at it in the eyes of love? What is it that I am not seeing, St. Germain? This is the question that we would recommend to ask to us, to the universe. What is it I am not seeing? Show me. We would say, look at it with the eyes of love. This is difficult. We understand, as many of you are experiencing great despair and pain. We would say that you would be feeling a deeper sense of this pain due to the fact that you were bringing up the past lifetimes. This would be that your perception of your reality is actually in greater despair than it is, because of the several layers of emotions that are coming to the surface. Could you relax into it and observe it without judgment? We would say to stand outside of yourself and observe it from there. If you were to go to, we would say, if you were to go to a hockey game and you were watching your favorite hockey player in the NHL, you would be a watcher. You are a watcher of the game. Your team is playing the game and you are watching it, and your team is winning and you feel excited. You are happy that your team has won, and or that your team is winning. If your team begins to lose, you start to feel sad and you take on their pain as your own. You have now changed your identity. You have become one of the players where you were a few minutes ago being the watcher of the game. You have now taken on their pain as your own. You leave the hockey game and go out for drinks with a friend, and you are upset that your team has lost, and this has ruined your night. You have allowed someone else's experience or someone else's game to ruin your evening. We would say, whose game are you going to play in? Could you not not stand outside and be the watcher of the game? Would this not feel less painful? If you are taking on someone else's pain, how could you heal? We would say that as one is observing another's game, to send compassion and love from your heart, but not to take on their pain. This would be most beneficial. Do not see them as a victim, or you will hold the vibration of victim. We would say this is the question that Scott had during the last video. How do I have compassion in fifth dimension, St. Germain? How can I be compassionate and loving without making myself a victim? And we would say to send one love and compassion from your heart, but do not take on their pain. Do not see them as a victim, or you will keep your vibration in a dense frequency of victim and of suffering, of struggle, and it will be the vibration that you are offering them. If you wish for one to heal, you must not see them as a victim or as suffering or struggling. They are having an experience, and they're having an experience of the polarities, of the contrast. They are having an experience, and if you hold a vibration of love, this is what you will offer to them, and they will be able to use that love to transmute. We would say, do not see them as victims. Hold space for them, and stand in your shoes and send out love from your heart. That is all that is required. Do not take on their pain as your own. What game could you play? Could you play your own game and be the watcher of your own emotions or others? Could you see it through the eyes of love instead of the eyes of fear? This would be the fifth dimension game. This would be moving from third dimension to fifth dimension. If I have fear in my vision or in my answers or in my questions, is this not a third dimension reality that I am playing that game? If I have love in my vision or love in my answers or love in my questions, is this not a fifth dimension game? It is all perception. This is the new earth that you are moving to. It is a perception. Can I find the consciousness within everything? When I drink my water, can I connect to the consciousness and the love within the water and enjoy every sip of it? Could I wash my hands, and as I'm washing my hands, could I connect with the consciousness of the water and feel the warmth over my hands and give it gratitude? This is the key. Give it gratitude for the gift it is giving to you. The warm water is washing your hands and keeping them clean. We would say that connecting to the consciousness within everything is the key. This would be that your perception at this time is that there is a past, a present, and a future. This is linear time. You are seeing your reality as, we would say, in a third dimension timeline. If you were to move to a fifth dimension timeline, there is only the now moment. There is no past or future. Is this coronavirus not creating uncertainty of the future? Yes, this is a great expansion of consciousness. If I am uncertain about the future, then I would not be attached to the future. If I'm not attached to the future, I would be in the now moment. We would say you are being shattered of your egoic attachments to the past or the future. Neither exists. There is only this moment. Can I stay in the now and be present in the now? There are many creations being created at this time from artists and musicians and creators. We would say you are all creators on planet Earth. Can you not connect to the consciousness of this now moment and create? We would say many of you have crafts or activities in your household where you could create. You could write a book or bake a cake or read a story to your child. This is all creation. You could paint or play with Play-Doh, or we would say play your musical instruments. This is all a form of creation. This would be beneficial and healing for the heart at this time to create. After this coronavirus, there will be a wave of love across the planet. Many of the dense frequencies frequencies of hate and rage have been lifted from planet Earth, and now love is planted into the new soil. Isn't this beautiful? There will be many new creations, and there will be many new jobs created with love on the planet after this pandemic has passed. There will be a new respect for each other and a new respect for life. There will be much perception change on what is important and what is not. There will be many perceptions changed on why one would be pleasing others instead of loving themselves. How could I love the consciousness within myself? And if I love the consciousness within myself, wouldn't this expand over all the planet? There will be much abundance on planet Earth. We would say the monetary system will be changing in a way that there will be more for those who are not having high incomes at this time. There will be new jobs created on planet Earth, and that will bring in abundance in other ways. There would be trading and planting of new ideas. There will be a new way. Many of the people on planet Earth are losing money at this time. This would be that the stock markets are changing, and investments are being we would say that our channel is not understanding. One moment, please. Our channel requires water. One moment, please. Oh yes, welcome. There will be monetary systems changing in the way we would go back to our conversation. Those who are losing money at this time, look to see where your attachments to money are. Where am I attached to something outside of myself? We would say that none of you require money to have an abundant life, but you were all trained, is the terminology our channel would like to use, but we would say it is more of a belief system. You all have a belief system that you require money to survive. Could you let go of this belief system and let go of the attachments to money and see how the abundance comes to you? This is that I have to go to work and make this amount of money and then pay my bills and pay for things that I wish to and desire to have in my reality on planet Earth. And we would say you are moving into a new reality. How could the universe work through me and bring things to me? What if I am present and let go of my attachments to the monetary system and let go of my attachments to needing to work hard? What if I had a belief that everything will come to me? What if I had the belief that money was consciousness? We had done a video that about the consciousness and connecting to the consciousness of money in a previous video. One would say that this is what is coming up on planet Earth, the monetary system. Things will be shifting. It would be that it will not be such a focus. There will be less greed on the planet. The politicians or the political system is being shattered at this time in the way that there is still much allowing of the politicians to make your decisions for you. Many of you are feeling helpless and hopeless because of this. You are saying, why is the president being able to decide if I get survival, or if I survive this coronavirus? Why is it his decision? Why is he deciding how many ventilators and how many tests? Why can I not make this decision myself? There are many of you who are feeling this pain. It is out of your hands. It is out of your control. It is the old way. It is the way of seeking outside of yourself for someone else to help you, seeking outside of yourself for the answers, seeking outside of yourself to a leader or a spiritual guru or a politician or someone who would know best for you outside of yourself. We would say none of you or all of you know best for yourselves. There is no one outside of yourself that knows what is best for you other than yourself. Why have you as a collective handed this responsibility over to one leader of the country to make your decisions for you? This is a shattering of the political system. This would be imperative that this occurred on planet Earth so that you would empower yourselves to create a new system. How could I know something if I have nothing to compare it to? We would say, if you look back in history, all of your shatters in the political wars in history have always unfolded into something new. It has always brought in a new energy in a new way. This is what is happening on planet Earth. We see it as a celebration of destructuring. People will stop handing over their power to those outside of themselves to make their decisions. This will create a new way. You will create it as a collective. But in order to create this, you must first experience it. We would say it has to come to the surface. If it does not come to the surface, then nobody would have the awareness they are handing their power over to somebody else to make their decisions for them. If it was always butterflies and rainbows, then no one would be motivated to change. You must be motivated to change in order for change to happen. If you go to the deepest darkness, then you will know the greatest love. And it is by experiencing the polarities on planet Earth that you would learn compassion from. If I have the biggest, deepest darkness, would I now know that a polarity of that in love? Yes, all of you have signed up to experience the deepest darkness so that you could transmute that back to love. Your natural state is love, and you are going back to the old way of, or you're going into a new way, but it is not the way of the ego. It is the way of the heart. We would say there is a confusion because Tara would call the old way the third dimension, and we are showing her the old way was always from the heart. All of you just forgot. You forgot you were consciousness, and you came to play the game of polarities on planet Earth, and you stepped into the game of the ego. We would say you had forgotten you were love, and now you were going back to that way. You were going back to that way of the heart. This is that it is not a race to the finish line, as all of you know what the finish line is. You have already been to the finish line. It is a journey, and the spirit is excited about the journey. There is no race to the finish line. Many of you are saying, could this experience not be over yet? And we would say for the spirit or the soul, it enjoys the experience. You already know what the finish line looks like. We would say you already have been all that is. You have already been everything. Could you, we would say, have you came to play the game on planet Earth? Yes, you have chosen this journey to experience the polarities on planet Earth. And as we mentioned earlier, you are not victims of suffering, but you are warriors of experience. And this is a great experience and soul expansion for all of you at this time on planet Earth. We are sending love to all of you and holding space. We are showing Tara that there is a light coming, and all of you as a collective are creating this light in this new way on planet Earth. It is much turmoil at this time, but to stay present and see it through the eyes of love will assist you in anchoring a new way. You will stay in the boat and float at the top. You will not drown. We would say it would be that there will be a new a lighthouse, or a lighthouse to float to. There will be a new way. We would say stay in the boat.